Good morning, I am Tracy Spence with your newscast. This newscast is brought to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join we live in. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 9:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. And the Supreme Power Homes, call them at 800-493-9002. Now for the news in details. Jamaica's Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says although the decision to close the country's borders to UK passengers for 2 weeks will be hard on stakeholders, it was necessary to manage the uncertainty caused by the new variant of COVID-19. In an interview with the media in Montego Bay on Tuesday, Mr. Bartlett said the government did the right thing based on the circumstances. The minister is optimistic that the decision to close the borders will not result in tourists turning away from Jamaica. Jamaica's Ministry of Health and Wellness is confirming that 20 passengers who arrived from the United Kingdom on Monday have tested positive for COVID-19. These passengers will now be placed in state isolation along with 4 of their close contacts and monitored until they are recovered. Additionally, the 20 positive samples will be sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency for genetic assessment to determine if they are of the variant strain of COVID-19. The results for 2 passengers were still pending, while some 267 travelers, excluding the 4 close contacts who have tested negative for COVID-19, will be transferred from state to home quarantine. These passengers will be fitted with armbands and be closely monitored by the parish health team and the Jamaica Constabulary Force as they complete their mandatory 14-day quarantine at home, the ministry said. The ministry said that the number of passengers who arrived on Monday totaled 301. Of the 301 passengers, 5 were in transit travelers and 3 were children under 12 years of age who were not sampled. Meanwhile, Grenada has signed a bilateral debt agreement with the United States as part of the Paris Club's debt service suspension initiative that provides for the island to consolidate and reschedule debt payments that were due between May and December 2020. The agreement, which was signed last week, implements the terms of the Paris Club G20 debt service suspension initiative, of which Grenada is a beneficiary. Minister of Foreign Gregory Bowen and U.S. Charge d'Affaires Carl Duckenworth signed the agreement. In May, Prime Minister and then Minister of Finance Dr. Keith Mitchell welcomed the Paris Club debt service suspension. In March 2020, following the announcement from the World Health Organization that COVID-19 had become a global pandemic, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund called on bilateral creditors to provide debt relief for countries like Grenada, suspending payments on loans and allowing them to use available resources to fight the pandemic. The Paris Club was formed in 1956 and is an informal group of official creditors whose role is to find coordinated and sustainable solutions to the payment difficulties experienced by borrowing countries. In sports, Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association J3A President Garth Gale says a second postponement of the Caribbean Games could present conflicts for local junior athletes for the 2021 season. His comments comes after Bermuda National Athletics Association President Donna Rayner alluded to the possibility of postponing the competition for the second time. The games, which were originally scheduled for this year, were pushed back to April 2021 because of the COVID-19 pandemic, with Bermuda remaining as the host country. Rayner, who is also the local organizing committee chairperson, told reporters on Friday that a meeting was held recently with the North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletics Association (NACAC) members to discuss the option of delaying the games further because of a surge in COVID-19 cases in the country. Gale says that a date in June has been discussed, and while no decision has been made, it will present a conflict with junior athletes who would be sitting their respective end-of-year examinations. And that is it for the news. This newscast came to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join Believin'. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 9:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. And the Supreme Power Homes, call them at 800-493-9002. On behalf of the news and production team, I'm Spence. Do have a good morning.